Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Women Like Me Stories and Business. Oh my goodness, you're going to want to really hang in for this one, especially if you are in a relationship or if you've been having some relationship troubles, because we have a relationship coach here with us. So we're going to get lots of really great ideas and inspiration. So let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to talk about, and then I will introduce her, and then we will get started. So for years, women have fought to become independent, capable, financially secure, and free to create lives of their own. And so we should, right? And that progress deserves to be celebrated. But somewhere along the way, some of us have become so accustomed to doing everything ourselves that we no longer have room for men to feel needed. Many women are exhausted from carrying the emotional, financial, and practical weight of their families. At the same time, many men appear lost, disconnected, or uncertain about who they are supposed to be within their relationships. This is not going to be a conversation about blaming women or excusing men. It's about asking what happens when relationships become a competition for control instead of partnership built on trust, respect, and shared responsibilities. So, my guest today is Jeanell Greene, a relationship rebuild expert, emotional leadership coach, and retreat host. Jeanell's understanding of relationships began with her own family's story. When she was 9, her father had an affair with a child and had a child with her mother's best friend, and he left the family. Years later, after becoming seriously ill, he returned home. Jeanell witnessed her mother's extraordinary forgiveness and her father's redemption as he became a loving and present dad. After experiencing the end of her own first marriage, Jeanell committed herself to understanding why relationships break down and what allows love to be rebuilt. Today, she's been happily married for over 20 years and helps men and couples rebuild trust, respect, emotional connection, and lasting partnerships. Oh, Jeanell, we're going to have such a great conversation. Thank you so much for being willing to come and do this with me.
You're so welcome. And I know I wrote that and
Yeah.
I was like moved as you were sharing that. Like, I don't know if you saw
Oh,
me. I was just like,
no.
whew, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. No, it's deep.
sometimes, we live it and we don't really think about like, wow, like that is what has got me to where I am. And
Yeah.
it was really moving.
Oh,
Thank you.
oh, beautiful. Okay. Well, let's get into it. Why do you
Yeah.
believe so many men today are confused, or they seem confused about their identity and their role within the relationships and their families?
Yeah, that's a really great question. Let me just take off my tears for a second. Do I have tissue? No tissue. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Deep breath, you got
Sorry.
it.
Yeah,
That's okay. That's okay.
I didn't expect that. Can
That's okay.
you repeat the question again, please?
Sure. So, men, why do we believe that today they seem to be confused? Some of them do anyway, about their identity and their roles within the relationships and families.
Mm, yeah, that's a really great question. I think a lot of men are confused for the most part, and I think it's for several reasons. Number one, I think the modern marriages and the evolution of marriage and relationships has been so volatile in the last few decades. When I think about how my parents grew up and the values that they had around family, where, divorce was not even a thing.
Yeah,
You stuck it out, whether it was 40, 50 years, even if you didn't necessarily like the person you chose, because you were committed, because you made a
right.
promise, and
Yeah,
because you knew that your children's well-being and their ability to thrive in life and to attract their partner
yeah,
was dependent on our ability as parents to be those role models. Now, I
right.
think as time has gone and women are, making more money, working full time, that scale, if you will, or those dynamics, those roles have kind of started to change. And so I think men are confused because they're not really sure, when this change is happening, where they fit in. I hear a lot of men say to me, the woman I'm married to now, 25 years later, is not the same woman that I married. And so I feel like I don't know her anymore. Like they say she feels like a clone. It's like it's her,
Uh-huh.
but it's not her,
Yeah.
right? And I think too that, the way I grew up. So I grew up with a mother who didn't know her father. My grandmother was a single mom of 7 children,
Holy smokes.
and my mom only met her biological dad twice. Once when
Oh.
she was 18, and once when she left for Canada.
Mm.
So she grew up not needing men, that men were unnecessary. And so as she tells me stories about how my dad tried to woo her and like get close to her, she was not interested.
Mm.
And so as her daughter and watching my mom, now my dad's been passed away now 24 years.
Oh,
So basically my mom's been a single mom for 24 years, right? Which
yes.
is half
Yeah.
my life, really.
Yes.
But when I look at her, she's my hero, right? I love this
Oh.
woman. What she did for our family in that moment when she had to choose whether or not she was going to accept my father back into our family was a defining moment, you
Mm.
know? And so a lot of my adulthood was like, I want to be just like mom.
Oh.
But as I watch her, I'm like, you know what? She's so strong. She doesn't allow anyone to help her. Um, and there was just these characteristics that I'm like, that's actually A, not who I am, and B, I don't actually think is really healthy. Because
Yeah.
yeah, it's great to go and help other people, but when you can't even receive,
Yes.
and I believe energy has to, it has to go back and forth. And I think
Yes.
marriage is the same way. It can't just be a one-way street.
Yeah.
When that gets disrupted, it's just like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And then add on top of that the stress of life and kids and health and money and, all the things
Yeah.
that a
All the
lot of,
things.
you're right, and all the things that men weren't taught. Okay, these are the things you need to talk about with your spouse.
Right.
Most of these men, especially, men who come from immigrant families, they're taught work hard,
Yeah.
protect your family, provide, be loyal, and don't cause trouble. Don't
Right.
piss off your wife. Like those are
Yeah.
kind of suck it up, be a man,
Yeah.
like all these things. And so I think, and as I work with men, like I'm hearing it all every single day. It's like, oh, I just want her to be happy. So even though I know what she's asking me is not right,
Hmm.
and I really want to put my foot down, peace to me is more important. But then now we
Mm.
start training their wife. He starts training his wife that she always gets her way. And now
Right.
he starts to diminish his voice and his light.
Yeah.
And now he starts to pull away. And she's wondering why he's pulling away.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so she starts making up stories based on her past. So I think that,
Mm.
we are who we are
Yeah.
based on our past. And
Yeah.
so if our parents were not great role models, our parents got divorced, our mother was abusive, our father was a angry drunk, that really plays into what we start to create and believe relationships and marriage are all about,
Mhm.
right? Not
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
so, but what we think it's going to look like. And so instead of creating a life from a place of love
Yeah.
and joy and partnership and possibility, we are living from fear, ego, pride, protection. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to be made a fool. But and then we wonder why we're unhappy. We wonder
Right.
why we get divorced, and then we actually manifest the thing that we've been avoiding or been wanting to avoid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Wow.
we don't know any other way. No one's ever taught us. And so
Yeah.
that's why, I had this choice of, okay, do I want to work with couples, women, men? But when I look at men and their desire to be a great husband and not having anyone explain that to them, and then they go to their wife and say, well, when you say that, like, what do you mean? Like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? And they're like, well, you should
Yeah.
just figure it out,
We're good at that, aren't we?
right?
You should
You
just know what I'm thinking.
Right. We've been
Yeah.
married for 20 years. You should be able
Yeah.
to read my mind. Don't you love
Yes.
me? Haven't you been
Yeah.
paying attention? Right.
Yeah.
So now they feel bad that they
It's a
should.
it's a losing battle.
It is a losing battle. So now
Yeah.
he's being asked to be emotionally vulnerable and connected, and yet when he does express his needs, his questions, even
Yeah.
it's kind of like shut down and made to
Mm-hmm.
feel guilt and shame
Yeah.
about whatever it is he's feeling.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the greatest gifts that I give men, and I think that we as women can give our man, is giving them the space to not know, to be confused, to be upset, to be
Yeah.
like just to be human. I think we
Yes.
have such a high
Yeah.
expectation of our guys and of ourselves,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so like with my husband, I have consciously did the work to make sure that I'm always treating him with kindness and patience and understanding, and knowing that, he grew up with so much rejection in his life,
Mm.
um, especially from women. I'm very responsible about how I speak to him and
Yeah.
making sure at the end of the day, my ultimate goal is to protect the safe space
Hmm.
that we've been able to create. Because once that gets
Yeah.
destroyed, that's when the alcohol, the porn, the infidelity, all the shutdown, the emotional shut, that's how it all starts.
Yeah.
And it
Well, what
happens very slowly, right?
Yeah. Well, what happens internally, do you think, when men feel that their roles are no longer valued?
Yeah, they're scared. Like even my husband. So I'm 4'10",
Yeah.
4'10" and a half, but technically I think I'm shrinking.
Yeah.
Anyways, so my husband's 6'1".
Oh my goodness. That's a difference.
And yeah, my ex-husband was 6'7".
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. I like tall
Wow.
men.
Yes, I think
Anyways,
so.
so I'm on the counter. My knees are on the counter and I'm up in the shelf and
Yeah.
I'm like grabbing some cans. I don't know what I was doing, whatever, with
Yeah.
a little step ladder. And my husband sees me and he runs into the kitchen and he's like, "What are you doing? Get down from there." I said, "I'm just getting something from the shelf." He's like, "Well, why didn't you just ask me? I could have done that for you." I said, "But I'm a big girl. Like, I could do it." And he's like, "Yeah, but if you are doing all these things, then what am I doing?"
Mm.
And I just really got like, and my husband, this is his personality. He's a helper. He
Uh,
loves to be of service. He's the
yes.
kind of guy that throughout the day, he's like, "Can I get you anything? Can I get you
Aw.
coffee? Are you hungry?"
Yeah.
Like he's that kind of guy.
Yeah.
And so if I take that away from him,
Yes.
then he doesn't actually get a chance to be acknowledged. So part of me allowing him to serve me, and I don't know if I serve, right? To
Yeah.
serve me and give the way he loves to love me is and express it the way he wants is such a gift, because then I get to say, "You know what, baby, thank you so much. You're so thoughtful, you're so kind and helpful, and thank you for going and doing that grocery run
Yeah.
because you knew that I had a really busy day." And he was just like, "Baby, it's okay. You do your work. I'll go do the groceries." I'm like, "Really?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You're the best." And of course, he's like, "I feel good. I did something good." And now
Yes.
I get to benefit from a very happy,
Yes.
validated, and appreciated man.
Yeah. Well, why are some women asking men to step up, but at the same time they're criticizing, they're correcting, they're controlling how they do it?
You're asking me the same questions I ask. I mean, I think as women, I mean, I see that for myself too, right? Because
Yeah.
there's a part of me that's like, yeah, I want to be independent. Here's what I
Hmm.
think is what it is. So I've been married for 20 years. My dad passed away at 53.
Hmm.
And as I get closer to that age, my mortality starts to become really evident. And there's moments that I'm lying in bed and I'm just loving him. Like I'm like, "Wow, this guy is like a 20 out of 10. Like, how did I score this man?" Like I'm thinking this. And I'm also very cognizant that I don't know how much time we have together.
Hmm.
Could be a week, could be a year,
Yeah.
could be 20 years. I don't know. And the thought of not having him around hurts and scares me. And I notice my body and my heart almost want to close to
Mm.
protect myself from the possibility of being hurt. So it's almost like we would rather reject and be alone rather than being left and abandoned. And so we
Yes.
do everything we can to make sure that that never happens. And that's why infidelity, when women get cheated on, is so heartbreaking,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, I thought that we were,
Yeah.
we were a team and now I don't actually know you anymore. And then we start to beat ourselves up and we're like, we should have seen it. We should have done things differently. I saw the red flag, right? Like all these things. And
Yeah.
oftentimes, to be honest, as someone who works with infidelity a lot of times it has nothing to do with the other person. It is all to do with him or her and
Hmm.
their own feelings of self-worth and also their own fears of abandonment and not feeling seen or feeling like they matter. And so they chase that validation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, which usually happens first? Does a woman become controlling because a man's not showing up, or does a man stop showing up because he feels controlled?
I would say the second,
Mm.
because, what I've noticed is men will do what they think is right? In the way that they know how. So, for example, making the bed. How
Yes.
I make the bed and how my husband makes the bed, totally different, right? But if I go in and I say, oh, you didn't make the bed right, I'm just going to fix it for you, right? And so now I'm doing the bed. Now he's like, oh, okay, so the way I do it is wrong. Well, now I'm not going to fix the bed anymore because she doesn't like the way I do it. So she'll just do it. And
Right.
now all
Yeah.
these things keep being piled on her
Mhm.
and she's upset about it, but yet because she wants to be in control of everything and
Mhm.
she's minimizing his ability or his partnership and willingness rather than being like, hey, babe, thank you so much for making the bed. Can I just show you how I do it so that next time maybe you can do it like my way? Because like it really makes me happy when if you could do that for me. Right?
Yeah.
It's just yeah, it's the way we approach things. But I think because we're
Yeah.
so impatient and we're doing a million things and kids and work, we
Yeah.
don't have time to actually think about, okay, how can I communicate this in a way that doesn't make him feel diminished,
Hmm.
small, unappreciated, disrespected?
Yeah. I think too, when we take this control, because I know for myself, I was a single mom for 28 years, and but I got remarried 15 years ago, and I think we're working, we're raising kids, we're doing all of those things, and do we really need a man? Do you know what I mean? Of course we do. Of course we do. But when you're out, like, I wonder if a lot of women think this,
Yeah.
like, what
Well,
can he help me with? But I think what we do is we forget what a 50-50 relationship brings.
yeah, and more importantly, and I think this is the big piece, is that we're not talking about the expectations. We're assuming that
Yeah.
the other person feels the way we feel, has the same level of common sense, has the
Yeah.
same values,
Yeah.
right? And thinks, yeah, he should just know that I need
Yeah.
help. Why should I have to ask him for help?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
now he's like, okay, do I, don't I? If I go in on the wrong time, she's gonna get mad. She thinks I'm getting like, being, too much. But then if I pull back, then she says I'm not being supportive. But then when I do it, she says I'm doing it wrong. So he's just kind of like, can someone just tell me what to do?
Yes.
Right. And I'm
Yes.
and I'm inside of these conversations as well. She's
Yeah.
like, well, you don't support me and tell me that I'm beautiful. And he says, well, of course I do. You just tell me that you just don't listen and you don't want to hear it and you don't say it the right way. And then he says, "Well, what exactly is it that you want me to say? What am I saying wrong? Like, what do you need to hear? What do you want from me?" And she says, "Well, you should know. You should have figured that out. Like, why do I have to tell you everything?" He says,
Yeah.
"Well, you have to tell me because clearly what I'm doing isn't working. So can you just give me the answer?" And she's like, "No. So
Yeah.
now he's like, okay, either I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I've seen that scenario.
Yeah. And if
Yeah.
men don't have the uh, feeling of emotional safety to
Hmm.
say what it is that's on his mind or what he's frustrated about,
Yeah.
he just shuts down because that's the easier way, because then he doesn't get in trouble.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of,
Yeah.
disassociates, pulls away,
Yeah.
and then he gets in trouble for that too.
Yeah. Well, what do you think men should do about if they're in a relationship and this is happening to them? What kind of tools, what would you suggest for them if they're listening, that they could do to
The
help
women or the
themselves?
men?
Oh, the men.
The men. Well, I'm thinking about my clients right now in my head as a lot of them, they just simply don't have the skills. Not
Mm,
like they don't want the skills, they've just never
yeah.
been given the skills. So a lot of what I do is I teach fundamentals. Like most men don't know what compassion or empathy or self-love or even inner work even means. They're like, what does inner work? Like, what's inner work? Right?
Yeah.
And so being able to explain it to them in a way that they understand is one thing. And then clarity. We're so busy, we don't actually take the time to pause and
Yeah.
go, okay, who am I? What do I want?
Yeah.
Who do I want to become? And what are the parts of me that clearly I've got some unresolved issues about? We're just moving on to the next thing. And especially for men, if there's some shame around it, or they've been taught that asking for help is weakness, or, whatever
Right.
story that is, right? But my guys, the ones that I work with are like, Janelle, just tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Yes.
Give me the script. Tell me
Yeah.
what does she mean when she says this?
Yes.
So I'm
Yes.
able to deliver it and communicate it in a way that's non-judgy,
Yeah.
that is really from I kind of see myself as a big sister.
Yeah.
That,
Aw.
I'm super straight and honest,
Yeah.
but I also can hold space and have compassion
Yeah.
for what they're dealing with because I've
Yeah.
been there on so
Yes.
many levels, right?
Yeah.
So I think just to let men know that it's okay, you're not broken, you're not dumb, no one taught you this.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, but what do you want? And once they tell me that, like, okay, like, so what does that require? And then
Mm,
also, what are the barriers to love that you have created that has you not be able to achieve what you want? So now we start talking about their parents. We start talking about heartbreak. We start talking about self-confidence, self-worth. Men struggle deeply with guilt and shame from a very young age, right? So trying to have them love themselves
mm,
without having to prove that he's worthy of love is
mhm.
huge. And so us women who are always like, you need to show me, you need to do this, you need to,
Yeah.
right? You need to do the song and dance and cartwheels and do, everything, and it's still not good enough. That's why they give up.
Well, I think any sane person would eventually just give up. I think
Yeah,
if you're,
and it's
if you're constantly trying, but you're getting, beat up because it's not the
yeah,
way they want it.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And
what
then
can
Mhm.
I was just gonna say, so what can women do in relationships with men to help them?
Yeah. Well, I think this question is a two-part. I think because I think the women and the men have to both do this. A, when you get into a relationship, why are you going into it? Have the right reasons for going into a relationship. I know for me, in my first marriage, my motivation was to not be alone. It wasn't
Mm,
about love, right? It was just like, I just don't want to be alone. Because being single to me meant that I was unwanted, that I was
mm,
ugly. And so I really had to do the work to love myself, to find my own self-worth and say, you know what? Just because I'm single doesn't mean I'm unattractive or
right.
unlovable,
Right.
right? So I think we all have to do the work on ourselves.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we go into relationships going, this person's gonna make me happy. This person's gonna fix my problem. This person's gonna save me.
Right.
And they forget, or we forget, the other person's got their own crap that they're dealing with,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And so I think we need to be able to take responsibility for our part. We
Yes.
need to learn how to create safe space. And I think a lot of marriages and relationships, what they're missing is the friendship piece.
Mm.
They go from dating, flirting to in the bedroom, getting sexually intimate, and then babies. And they kind of bypass all the really important pieces that build the foundation so that when crap hits the fan,
Yeah.
that they're not like, oh, this is hard, see ya,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Yes. Exactly.
So that would be
Yeah.
my initial answer. I'm sure there's 20
Yeah.
other ones there, but that's
Yeah.
my first kind of like,
Yeah.
that's what's there first.
Well, women frequently say that they want a strong man, but we always, but are we willing to share control with one?
Well, and what does it mean to be a strong man?
I don't
Like
know.
everyone is different,
Different. Right. Right.
right? So like my husband physically is a strong man. Like
Yes.
he is buff, he is tall, he's got a goatee and lots of hair or body hair. Like he's a guy, he's a
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
But inside, he's a teddy bear.
Oh,
He's so
yes.
soft and intuitive and sweet and kind and sensitive, you know?
Yeah.
But to me, a man who knows when to take leadership, but also knows when to let me lead, knows what I need and can anticipate that and be my partner and like being my rock and helping me along. To me, that's what a strong man does. But for
Yes.
someone else who looks at me and my husband, they're like, "Oh wow, your husband is you're kind of in the control of you're in the control box. The man should be in the control box." So I'm like, "Well, it depends.
Yeah, it
Sometimes he is,
absolutely.
sometimes I am. It's not like
Yes.
I'm this and he's this. We're always
Yes.
moving depending on what is needed,
Yes. Exactly.
right? Because we
Yes.
have our own strengths and weaknesses. So like I know for me, my strength is I am a go-getter. I take action. I'm a big thinker. I'm a Sagittarius. So I'm like, you know, I'm that
Yeah.
kind of personality. My husband's the opposite. He's super chill, easygoing, not, introvert, loves to read,
Yeah.
loves being the follower, and it works.
Yes.
And
Yes.
when I need him to step up, I'm like, hey, babe, can you go kill that spider?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He can go do that.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
it's just,
No,
again,
for
I think it's just
sure.
expectations
Yeah.
and talking about that.
Yeah. Well, how can a woman make room for a man's leadership without giving up her independence, her intelligence, or her voice?
Well, why couldn't she? To me, I'm like, I think they're totally two different things.
Mm,
Why do you have to give up one for the other? Why can't it be an and situation, not an or situation?
mm,
And I think that's a good point because what
yeah.
I'm noticing is a lot of women are like, yeah, women, like we're empowered and we don't need
Yeah.
men. But what they do is they start to go, men are, right? Men are
Hmm.
down here. We're up here.
Yeah.
Now we've created even more divide.
Yeah.
So instead of having more love, more community, more contribution and partnership, we're actually creating more like, I don't need you, I don't need anyone. And that's all fear-based.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Well, what does emotional leadership mean for a man, particularly when many men are taught to hide their emotions rather than understand them?
Yeah, I think for me, emotional leadership is first of all being self-aware,
Mm, hmm.
knowing who you are and your ways of being,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Be not being afraid to feel. Going like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, this is human. I can feel and I can talk about it and I don't have to feel shame about it.
Yeah.
And then thirdly is, being able to lead themselves. So that means taking action, initiative, being responsible, making the changes that they say that like integrity.
Hmm.
And then once that is like that foundation is created, now he can go and lead his family and lead at work and lead his wife. But he can't lead until he knows how to lead himself. And he can't lead himself if he doesn't love or respect himself. And a lot of
Yeah.
men just keep sacrificing. This is the thing women don't realize. Men are sacrificing so much of who they are just to keep the peace.
Mhm.
they will, not agree and be afraid about what's going to happen if the wife takes um control of a certain decision. But he's like, she will not let go. She's like, no, it has to go my way. He's like, well, what choice do I have? Either I
Mhm.
live with a woman who like looks at me with hate every single day because I'm not listening to her, or I just say, okay, yes, 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 ma'am, avoid the fight, make her happy. But my response was like, but what are you teaching her?
Mhm.
About you, about your worth, about what that you matter. Because then how are you going to start feeling after a while when you don't actually get to be yourself,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's and
Yeah.
we're not talking about this. So that's why education is so important.
Yeah. Well, how can a woman encourage emotional openness without interrogating? I know we do that, criticizing or demanding that her partner communicate exactly as she does.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Um, I think first of all, you have to have the skills. Here's the thing. We are each other's mirror,
Yes.
right? And so how can we love someone else to the fullest extent when we don't even love ourselves?
Hmm.
How can we forgive someone who has broken our heart or disappointed us, whatever,
Yeah.
when we don't even know how to forgive ourselves
Yeah.
for that stuff?
Yeah.
But it's so
Hmm.
easy to look out in the world and go, okay, you're not doing this for me and I'm unhappy. And this is what I had to learn the hard way. It was like, oh, wait. I'm the one who's not choosing myself. I'm the one who's not trusting myself. It's not men I don't trust, it's me I don't trust.
Yeah.
And that's a hard reality and a hard uh, pill to swallow.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
until we get to that level of humility, honesty, responsibility, we're always going to blame
Hmm.
and put it off to someone else that it's their fault. And then
Yeah.
we will never, and then we wonder why we're never happy or why no one sticks around.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's almost you get into that cycle. And sometimes I think what women don't realize is that, they're the common denominator in the situation.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have a girlfriend. We've been friends for 40 years, but she's on her seventh marriage.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. But she said, I know I'm the common denominator in what's going on. I attract a certain kind of guy. We all fall madly crazy in love, and then within 2 years it's usually over. Yeah, and so she's aware of it now. She's working on herself because she doesn't want to continue that pattern that she's been in.
Yeah. So insight is great. That's the first step, but that's
Yeah.
where most people get stuck is that they're like, okay, I know this is true. Okay, but
Yeah.
now what?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
for example, okay, I know I need to lose 20 pounds. I know I do.
Yeah.
But how is that going to help me lose 20 pounds knowing that I'm going to lose 20 pounds? I need an action plan.
Right.
And more
Right.
importantly, I need to figure out why. Even though I'm so committed to losing 20 pounds, I can't do it. And I'm
Yes.
not following what I know to do.
Yeah.
That is the work. So it's all about discovering your patterns. So
Hmm.
for me, growing up, my pattern that I discovered was, when my dad left, I made three subconscious decisions. Number one, I'm unlovable. Number two, I can't trust people. And number three, everybody I love will eventually leave me. So that's been humming in the background. And then as I went through school and I got bullied a lot, I made up, I don't matter. I need to play small and be invisible so people don't hurt me. And people are mean and dangerous, right?
Hmm.
And so we create all these barriers to love that we don't even realize are there. And then we go through life and going, why do I keep attracting the cheaters?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
It's the same thing, different face, different name. And then they go, oh, you know what it is? It's because men are terrible. All men are cheap,
Right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah,
right?
for sure. I get it. Yeah. Well, what do you think that men wished women understood about them, but they may not know how to say it?
They are trying so
Yeah.
much. They just don't know how.
Yeah.
That they are human,
Yeah.
that they do have struggles and self-confidence issues that they don't share.
Yeah.
Um, and they're really sensitive. I work with men and women, and men actually cry more than women.
Mm.
And I am clear that I am the only person who's ever seen them cry, not their wife, not their
Yeah.
kids, just
Yeah.
me,
Yeah. Yeah.
because no one has ever made them feel safe to be themselves. So I think
Mhm.
at the end of the day, that's what it's about. How can we truly love each other? Because I think people have this weird definition of love that it's like,
Yes.
okay, it's love is only when it feels good, right? I
Yes.
I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Like, what does that even
Yeah.
mean, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's the thing is like, yeah, love is, yeah, it's got some
Yeah.
good stuff and it feels good, but
Yeah.
love is also painful and it
Yes.
requires, and sometimes it has to be like a hard choice. Like, yeah, you know what? You cheated on me, but I love you so much and
Yeah.
it hurts to love you, but I choose to love you because that's what I want,
Yeah.
even in
Yeah.
this.
Well, let me ask you um, about letting men. So we should never use letting men be men to excuse
Yes.
neglect, aggression, infidelity, or emotional avoidance. So where do you think women should draw that line?
Yeah. Well, let me just point something out. What you
Okay.
just said,
Yeah.
infidelity, what did you say?
Yeah.
Emotional shutdown.
Neglect, aggression,
Yeah,
infidelity, emotional avoidance.
yeah. Okay, so consider that that's actually not who they are. It is a patterned behavior. So
Mm,
if we can remember that who we are, all of us, women, men, kids, old people, whatever, who we are at the end of the day is love. And everything that is not of love is not of us. And I
right.
get this from Course in Miracles, if you guys have ever read that. So great. But consider that that is just how we cope with our
Mm,
inability to love ourselves and each other is these
mhm.
things. It's not who we are. So, like when I watch my clients get ugly, the ugliness of them,
Yeah.
I am clear that's not who they are. I am clear that that is a coping mechanism, a survival mechanism, a defense mechanism. That is just like a knee-jerk reaction in
Yeah.
a moment of being triggered, right? Because they had some
Yeah.
trauma, and their green Hulk comes out.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, although, that it's real, it also isn't who they are.
Yeah.
So that's
I,
why compassion is so
yeah.
important.
Yeah, that's a great explanation for sure. Absolutely. I just want everybody to know out there that we are going to have in the show notes how you can reach out to Jeanell if you want to snoop around, you want to speak with her, you need to get some coaching of some sort. So her information is all going to be there in the show notes. So don't hesitate to find it and reach out. Jeanell, I want to ask you about because I feel that uh, so often I feel that, a marriage splits or a relationship splits and there's kids involved and sometimes the kids are used as a pawn by either party. But what would you say to a man who is feeling replaced or he's feeling unnecessary or he's feeling invisible? What would you say to him?
I would say, well, so there are a few things that you said there because I feel invisible is an internal conversation,
Right.
right? It's not really like in the world reality, other than maybe being ignored, like
Yes.
neglected, if that's what you
Yeah.
mean. But I think at the end of the day, we can only control ourselves.
Hmm.
We can learn from our mistakes. We can strive to be better. We can change as much as we can. We can try to convince others that we've done that and that we're different people and all that. But at the end of the day, they're going to make the choices that they make. And the only thing that we can control is this and this and this.
Right. Yes.
And I think that's the thing is like we want to feel like we're in control of these situations and then we feel anxiety and like, oh, what if she leaves? What if she divorces me? La, 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 right?
Yeah.
It's like well, first of all, it hasn't happened yet, so chill.
Yes.
And until those divorce papers show up, you still have time. So in that time, what are you going to do?
Mm,
How can we make this time count?
mhm.
And how do we make sure that no matter what happens, because we don't know, only
Yeah.
God knows, that you are good,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you know that you did everything that you
Yeah.
possibly could.
Yeah.
And perhaps if we took a spiritual lens to this, I believe everything happens for a reason. And it is God's way of teaching us the life lessons that we need in order to grow and expand and become more resilient.
Yes.
And so if we can just shift our mind to like, oh, I'm failing and
Mm,
I'm not good enough too, what is this teaching me? And how can I see this as a learning opportunity and be actually grateful for this wake up call? And
yeah.
what if I could just trust that the universe or God has my back and that it's okay if this relationship doesn't doesn't last
Yeah.
because I don't want to be with someone who doesn't respect me, who doesn't see me as like a real person.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how can I be the best dad among and still take care of myself so I can get on the other side of this? And at the end of the day, what my promise is to my clients is that they got a toolbox for whatever life throws at them and that they're
Mm,
going to be okay.
yeah. Oh. Well, that is a beautiful way to end our conversation,
Mhm.
Jeanell. Thank you so much for being willing to do this. And I think you gave us so many insights into yeah, I feel bad for men. Yeah, yeah. I think as women, um, we do sometimes put these expectations on them and we don't tell them.
Mhm.
And we all have, men and women are different. We have different brains. They have different brains. We have different thought patterns. They have different thought patterns. And for us to just assume, I mean, women, we're a little intuitive and we certainly can feel each other and know what we need as friends and friendships, but that's not the way it is with men. No, no.
No.
So we should quit beating them up and just tell them, even though you don't want to tell them and you think you shouldn't have to.
Yeah. And on that note, I just want to add, which I think is every woman needs to hear this. And I don't
Yeah.
know why we're so hesitant to appreciate and acknowledge our men. Like, why are we so weird about
Yeah.
that? Like, I'll say to a woman, I'm like, well, why don't you just acknowledge him? She's like, for what? I'm like, I don't know, being a great man, being a great husband, being an awesome person, being funny, being like, why does he have to do something
Yes.
to receive love and appreciation, especially when his love language is verbal affirmations?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, I am always looking for ways to acknowledge my husband for anything. Why? Because the more he feels seen and acknowledged and appreciated and respected, the better and stronger he's going to show up for me.
Absolutely. Perfect. Oh my goodness. There it is. That's what we needed to hear. Absolutely, Jeanell. Well, thank you so much again, Jeanell, for coming on the show and sharing your wisdom. And remember, everyone, we're going to have all of Janelle's information in the show notes, so you know how to reach her. It'll be super easy to do. All of that will be there. You just click and off you go. So, well, Jeanell, thank you so much for being here. I've learned some stuff and I think it's just important that our minds expand and we start, and that's the purpose of this, right? I think we start to think a little bit before we start this
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, well, everybody, thank you for being here for this episode of Women Like Me Stories in Business, and we will see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.